Hi everyone, I'm Anya Parampil and this is Redlines. On May 15th, the day Palestinians observed the Nakba, or catastrophe of their dispossession by Israel, the Israeli military destroyed the 11-story Al-Jalah building in Gaza City. This building was not only home to many families, it was the location of Al Jazeera and the Associated Press's Gaza bureaus. Israel undoubtedly knew this and even called to tell journalists to get out before the bombing occurred. It claimed Hamas maintained a base of operations inside, but never produced a single scintilla of evidence. Nor did Israel produce any evidence of military value on May 12th, when it destroyed the Al-Shurouk building, another civilian tower that contained media offices, including one where I did live hits while I was reporting inside Gaza in 2018. Back in 2014, during Israel's last major assault on Gaza, it killed 18 Palestinian journalists and destroyed the Basha Tower, the home of numerous Gaza news agencies. Earlier, the Grayzone spoke with Motasem A, Dalloul, a journalist in Gaza City who reports for Middle East Monitor. As you will hear, Israeli warplanes were entering the sky while we spoke, preparing to bomb more targets among the densely populated area. I wanted to start by asking you what the current situation around you is. Where are you exactly, and what have you seen today?
Today is the 8th day of the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip. The most important thing is that the number of casualties, number of deaths and wounded has risen to 212. What is notable regarding the number of deaths is that out of the 212 people who were killed by the Israeli attacks, there were 61 children and more than 20 women. It means that more than one third of the death or the people who were killed are minors or women. This show that the Israeli occupation is targeting civilian, or this is a result of targeting civilian facilities, mainly residential buildings and commercial buildings. And today was one of the fiercest days since the start of the offensive, because the Israeli jets have targeted the western or the coastline of the Gaza Strip, which is Al-Rashid Street, one of the main highways that connects the south of Gaza Strip to the north. They destroyed the whole all the street from the north to the south, and cut the Gaza Strip into parts. They claim that there is a tunnel under this street, but they failed to prove that there was a tunnel below this street. Another thing is that targeting the headquarters of the Ministry of Health. The headquarters of the Ministry of Health, they targeted it directly. They hit a residential building opposite to it directly without a pre-warning, and several people killed and more than 10 wounded. And all the offices of the Ministry of Health were destroyed. Another thing is that tens of thousands of people from the eastern part of the Gaza Strip fled their homes. They fled their homes because they feared that the Israeli occupation might carry out massacres like what happened in 2014, when the Israeli occupation army launched the ground operation without a pre-warning. Suddenly, they started tank shelling at the homes of people along the eastern side of the Gaza Strip, and they killed tens of people while they were fleeing their homes. Now there are more than 200,000 people are internally displaced in the Gaza Strip, about 40,000 in UN run schools, and the others are living with their relatives who are in the center of the Gaza Strip. Something also notable is that there is no safe area in the Gaza Strip. Everyone knows that Gaza is one of the most densely populated areas on earth. So that when the Israeli occupation open fire or carry out an airstrike or a bombardment, they hit people. The night before yesterday, before last night, the Israeli occupation during the night destroyed an entire neighborhood in the center of the Gaza Strip, in the center of the Gaza Strip, in an area which people didn't think that it could have been targeted, and killed 42 people after destroying their homes over their heads. Another thing which is very important to highlight today is that the electricity plant, which is the only electricity plant in the Gaza Strip, said that it will run out of fuel on Thursday, so that there will be no electricity in the Gaza Strip. We already don't have electricity. We have only 8 hours a day. During the war, we have only 4 hours a day. So that on Thursday we will have no electricity at all. Another thing is that when there is no electricity, sewage will sewage pumps will not operate, so that there will be a very big problem for result to be resulted of the sewage. There will be no running water going to the homes, and since the first day of the operation, Israel closed the Karam Abu Salim, the only commercial crossing for Gaza, so that food is to run out, medical equipment to run out, medicines to run out, fuel to run out, everything necessarily needed for living will run out.
Yeah, how are people in Gaza reacting to the increased capacity Hamas has demonstrated during this war?
Um, for people in general, war is something bad, something that everyone hates. However, this time people in Gaza loved Hamas and the Palestinian resistance in general, which is united under the name of Joint Room for the Military Factions, more than ever. Why? Because they are seeing that Hamas, which is running the Gaza Strip, which is the government, the real government here, are taking up arms and fighting the Israeli occupation without hesitation, without fearing that they will lose their positions, and so that people are supporting them more than ever. And the second reason that they got the support, they get the people's support, is the development in the fighting equipment, which were made from primitive things, primitive material. and they like people like the way that Hamas could use the primitive primary material to make these effective weapons, which is affecting the Israeli occupation. They think that these new weapons with longer ranges and bigger effectiveness or effect will push the Israeli occupation to relieve the siege imposed on the Gaza Strip and to stop its aggression on the Al-Aqsa Mosque and to stop or to refrain from attempting to expel the families, the Palestinian families in Jerusalem's neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah, or these things that make people love or support the Palestinian resistance.
Are you safe? Was that the sound of jets flying above you?
As I told you previously, there is no place safe in Gaza. I am not safe. my kids, my kids and my wives are always 24 hours crying, and they are always crying and asking me to go to a safer place, but I cannot afford any safer place than where I am now. It is my home, and I don't know where to go because any place, any house, any residential building, any shop, any street, any car is subject to be attacked by the Israeli occupation without a pre-warning. So that we agreed, yeah, we reached an agreement, me and my wife and the children, that we have to stay together in order if in order to support each other, and if we are targeted or hit, or our house was hit, we die together. uh, this is the reality in the Gaza Strip.
What do you tell your children? What do they understand? What do you tell your children? What do they think is happening?
The first day I told them it is thunder and there is raining and something like this. The second day there is no rain. What's happening, my dad? And they started to watch images and footages for people under the rubble and dead people. However, I'm trying not to allow them or to let them see these things. They go to their Facebook and WhatsApp and they see everything, so that this makes them make me unable to do anything for them. They are traumatized whenever they hear a sound of an explosion. They start screaming, and I try to. Sometimes I can't do anything because I myself I'm scared when there is something horrible. Last night, exactly last night, an Israeli jet hit a slaughterhouse belongs to my brother. It's beside my home. We were standing at the window. We started to hear explosions in the neighborhood. We stood at the window, and there they hit the slaughterhouse. And the pressure of the explosion pushed us inside, and all of us, including me, we were crying and screaming, and we didn't know what to do until the morning. This is a bitter reality.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think anyone outside of Gaza can truly understand. So I want you to just, if we can end by, what would you tell journalists, especially in the West, who look at this situation and claim it is complicated, or they say Hamas fires rockets and so Israel has the right to respond. And they look at this as two equal sides in a fight. What do you tell those journalists, as a journalist yourself, who's living under this terror?
The first thing I want to tell you that my office was in one of the high-rise buildings which were destroyed. The first high-rise building which was destroyed included my office, which is Hanadi building on the beach of DC, and I lost my office. The second thing is that I tell the Western journalists that the situation is not complicated. The equation is very simple. There is a land owned by certain people. Other intruders came to these people, occupied their land. They committed massacres against them. The people who survived were expelled from their homes and their land. The intruders lived in these homes and used this land. And the people, the owners of the land who remained in this land, they are dealt with as second class. The Palestinians are separated or divided into two, in Palestine, divided into two, and the ongoing wave of racism prove that they haven't been treated equally like the Jewish people. Because when they just talk to the streets in solidarity with the Gaza Strip and Jerusalem, the Jewish people, the Jewish residents, attacked them and carried out attacks against them. The people, the Palestinians who are living in the territories occupied in 1967 aren't they aren't Palestinian, they aren't citizens. They have no identity. Because the first thing, they aren't Israeli citizens, so that this is something clear. But Israel consider them Palestinian citizens, but they aren't free to travel or leave these territories or enter these territories without an Israeli permission. Even if there is the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority is just an equipment in the hand of the Israeli occupation. If Israel doesn't want any Palestinian in the 1967 territories not to leave, the Palestinian Authority cannot give him the permission to leave. Or the same thing if one want to Palestinian outside these territories and want to return back to these territories, and Israel doesn't want him to go back home, the Palestinian Authority cannot do anything for him. So that they have no identity, they have no citizenship. The Israeli occupation say that it is not our fault, it is the Egyptian restrictions. You can travel there, but Egypt is closing the crossing. But it is known for everyone in the world that Egypt closes the crossing with Gaza by the orders of the Israeli occupation.
Yes. Unfortunately, I have to leave it there for now. Motasem Dalloul, thank you so much. And please, I still hear, I think, sounds around you. So I hope you have someplace you can go to take cover. But we'll be thinking of you. So thank you.
You know that Gaza has no shelters at all.
Right.
No bunkers. So that there is, okay. Thank you for having me. Keep me in your prayers, please.
Earlier, the Grayzone spoke with Safwat Kahlout. He was among the journalists forced by Israel's military to evacuate the Al-Jalaa building before it was destroyed on May 15th and works as Al Jazeera's correspondent in Gaza. We spoke over the phone due to the lack of reliable internet in Gaza. Safwat, thank you for your time this evening. I wanted to go back to the date of May 15th. What happened to you as you were working at the Al-Jallah building?
So what happened is that our neighbor, he knocked our door and he said, informed our boss, the bureau chief in the office, that he received a phone call from the Israeli intelligence that Israel will bombard our building and that we have 1 hour to evacuate. Immediately we started to collect as much as we could, equipment, cameras, audio machines, and anything that we could bring with us. And we rushed outside with our neighbors, of course, lots of children, women. All together, they have been trying to leave to save their lives. Then we all stood outside the building, and we started reporting from outside the building. We heard about the Israeli justification afterward, not immediately. It was scaring, panicking, and it's a mix of fear and, let's say, and sadness. Fear because your place is going to be bombed. It could, and you are within like the targeted categories of the Israelis. This is the fear. The sadness because you have to leave everything behind you. 11 years of work, 11 years of memories, 11 years of ceremonies and celebrations with your colleagues. It's Al Jazeera and or let's say the office was our second home, and the colleagues, after this long time working together, we became like one family, sharing everything together, even the personal ceremonies, the personal experiences, the personal happiness, sadness, etc. Like in many places, by the time we became one family. So leaving that behind you in one second, with all the memories, with all the things that you had together, it was really very sad and also traumatic. We still have the trauma.
Why do you think Israel attacked this building as well as others which house media?
This is not my role to judge the Israeli army, but we have been reporting the truth. I don't know if they have problem with telling the truth, or they have problem with people reporting and showing reality and and what is going on, from people killed, homes destroyed. I am a journalist. My role is to tell the truth and to tell facts. Okay, from what I saw, and I heard that they justified. They said this building was used by military or for military purposes or intelligence or whatever, which the thing that we have never seen after 11 years. I could say that this building is residential. This building, we know each other. We know everybody living there. We know even what the ceremonies of people living there, because we are close in the same building, living here. So even you could see children growing in front of you, who live next to you, 11 years. But we have never seen any suspicious thing. My office itself has never been used for any suspicious or illegal activity, and it's well known for everybody, for the whole world. It's one of the most important titles for facts, for reporting, for news, as a media office also. So this is Al Jazeera, well known for everybody.
In 2014, Israel killed 18 journalists. Does Israel deliberately target reporters in Gaza?
The Gaza Strip is a very small place and very crowded. And the Israelis are controlling and dominating the sky, the sea borders of Gaza. They are using a very sophisticated and advanced technology to watch and control the Gaza Strip. So I believe they can distinguish between the journalists and the non-journalists, wanted people or non-wanted people. But sometimes when you think or believe that you are above the law, so you don't care about the result. But yes, 18 journalists, it's not like one we can say by mistake or two by mistake. So 18 journalists is a big number to say that they were targeted or hit by mistake.
What would you like to see governments and press freedom organizations in the West say to support those of you who have lost your offices or are under attack?
First of all, to put into consideration that, the population of Gaza are innocent and they have nothing to do with the Israeli considerations and with the Israeli conflict. Okay, and also I believe that the international community, also all those related press organizations, should work with the Israelis and find a solution for the Palestinian journalists. I mean, by finding a solution that to establish a certain body who could follow up with Palestinian journalists or committee that can follow up or coordinate between the Israelis and the Palestinians through legal or through special institutions to guarantee the safety and the security of the Palestinian journalists. This we work day and night. Neither we nor our families feel safe. A few minutes ago or a few hours ago, I received a call from my wife telling me that our neighbor received a warning call from the Israelis to evacuate his house. So should I keep reporting or should I go and take my children and stay outside and wait for the Israelis to bombard my neighbor's house? So, but there is a mix, It's a Palestinian journalist is a Gaza resident also, and he has the right to live secure, safe with his children. The Israelis know everybody, every house in Gaza. They have the map of everything in Gaza. The Israeli intelligence around for over the past years, they collected everything, all the information about people in Gaza. So they can find a way through, the international community can find a way through and connect with the Israelis and do, let's say, special bodies. They know how to reach the Israelis and to make pressure on them to find a way to protect us and to guarantee that our freedom of expression. Also, the Israelis, by the way, some Palestinian journalists are deprived and they banned from traveling. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking in general. The Palestinian journalists, they have been receiving, by the way, lots of invitations to go and attend conferences, to visit their bases all over the world. But still, the Israelis, they banned them because we need a permission from the Israelis to leave. So we need a special committee. We need special bodies that can coordinate between the international community from one side and the Israelis on the other side. So, like everybody in the world, like every journalist in the world, everywhere the journalist should feel free to move, to live, and to practice life at the minimum of safety and standards, let's say.
And finally, since you say the situation is changing rapidly and that you have to go, can you just describe the humanitarian situation you've witnessed and what you've seen in the field?
Look, Gaza is a 360 kilometers square. It's a very flat and very small place. 2 million people living in this area. 15 years of Israeli blockade resulted in destroying the economy of Gaza. 50% are unemployed. 2/3 of the population of Gaza depend on food parcels and food aid introduced by either international humanitarian organizations or local ones. So most of the population now became poor because of this siege. The health, education, sports, social, all life aspect has been damaged and collapsing because of this siege. Adding to that, you have 1 year of COVID-19. The health system is collapsing after 15 years of siege. So adding to that now, eight days of escalation. You could see destruction everywhere. A lot of residential areas have been collapsed. hundreds of people killed, hundreds of people injured. The hospitals are crying. They cannot deal with the huge waves of population, of injured people. Sorry. Thousands of people also now, they were forced to leave their homes because of the heavy shelling. Now they are taken from UN run schools as shelters. Now the whole world is talking about or dealing with or applying a special preventive measures for the COVID-19. Now people, 40 and 50 people in one room using or used mattresses and cuisines because they have to leave their homes. So all life aspects are collapsing.